Hello, and welcome everyone. My name is Wisdom Muzambi. I'm a digital trainer and accountant, and also I teach simple accounting and consultants. So, on today's session, we are learning about how to make smart decisions in your business or as an entrepreneur. So, let's wait for others to join. Let's wait for others to join. Just 5 minutes. Uh, Everyone needs to join. Can you see clearly my screen? Can you see my screen clearly? So today's topic is how to make smart decisions as a business owner or as an entrepreneur. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Can you hear me clearly? For those that have joined, can you hear me clearly? Can you kindly confirm that you can hear me clearly? Everyone who has joined, can you hear me clearly? For those that have joined, can you hear me clearly? You can comment on your comment section so that I can confirm that you can hear me. All right. Thank you for confirming that. Thank you. Thank you. Those who are still joining, our today's session is how to make smart decisions or business decisions as entrepreneurs. That is our topic for today. So, in business, especially in a small business, it's your ability to make smart decisions that can mean the difference between success and struggle. Because you need to be, yes, this is a live session. It's being recorded automatically, and you can watch it or rewatch it on the YouTube channel. Yes. So I was saying, in business, it's your ability to make smart decisions which separates the struggle and the success. But as entrepreneurs, most of the times we delay to make decisions, or we make emotional decisions, or we rely on our gut instincts without clear thinking to make decisions which end up paying for it later. So every day as a business owner, you are making decisions, or you need to make decisions on a day to day basis. So as you can see that on our screen, we have the type of decisions, what are the key benefits, what are the common mistakes, and what decision making process you can establish or um, implement for in your business. So sometimes when you face pressure, you make a decision based on the crisis or challenges and the opportunities that are available. So on today's session, we want to remind you, because this is not a new information or any rocket science, new technology, but this information that is uh, available to you all. But sometimes you need someone like me to remind you how to make those decisions. So we want to talk about the type of decisions that you have in your business, the types of decisions that you have in your business. So we want to start with this session, the types of business, because you have your operational decisions, right, on a day to day basis. Then you have your financial decisions. These ones are more like a day to day, but also they are determined by the near future or the short term future of maybe 3 months up to 1 year. Then also you have your strategic. Strategic is not a big word, but it means the choices that will impact your business in the long run. So if you decide to take a certain path, that decision making of deciding to take a certain path for the longest period of time is a strategic decision. A strategic decision to focus on a niche, not on every customer, but on a certain niche. That's a strategic decision. Then you have your operational decisions, you have your financial decisions, and you have your strategic decisions. So these are the types of decisions that you will likely make in your business. But you might find yourself making more and more operational decisions as a business owner and neglecting the strategic decisions, which is a big detrimental to your business future as it impacts on the course of your business. Are we getting this clearly? All right, let's move on. So we have the types of decisions, the key benefits, the decision making process, and the common mistakes. So, as I said, we have the types of decisions. And we want to discuss each and every type of decision that you make. On operational decisions, one, we have operational decisions. So, when you start your business, the first thing that you do is you start, right? The process of business. You start your business. The next step that you need to establish is selling. Then the other step that you need to establish is to stabilize that business. Then you will move to scaling. Most people, when they start their businesses, they move from start to selling, right? Then they move to scaling without stabilizing their businesses. So I want to explain what is the process of starting a business up to the scaling side. So when you start your business, the main focus is like you are deciding to that you want to start a business of selling the groceries. The first step is to start. Where are you going to start the business? Whether you are selling on the boot of your car, in a shop, in town, in either any place that you have decided to start your business, you have started. The main focus now goes to selling. Now you need to make every effort in establishing your business to make sales. Whether you are advertising, you are making business cards, anything that makes you to be able to sell, you should be focusing on that. This process might take up to 6 months to 2 years, depending on the type of business that you are running, because every business has a model or has a business model that is different, right? So you need to establish a business model that is able to sell in those early stages. So in your early stages, you are trying to sell, so you have more cost in advertising and business development. This process will likely take about 6 to 2 years. The moment you start having sales, don't think of scaling. Don't ever think of opening another branch or another location without stabilizing the business. When I say stabilizing the business, is to establish systems, right? In establishing systems, what I'm saying is you need to establish systems. That's where you now need to make those operational decisions. Let's say you are a restaurant. You are operating, when you started, you were operating as a two-man band where you were having someone who's dispatching or taking orders, and the other one who's doing dispatch. Either one of you were doing those tasks. Then you had someone also who was preparing the meals. Now you are three. Now you want to free yourself from those operational things or operational duties. You want to focus more on sales. So you'll be focusing on this. Now, once you have established the selling process, now you want to stabilize your systems. Because when you scale, when you skip the step of from selling up to scaling, you have missed this. When you miss this, this will come to bite you. Now you need to make operational decisions. These are advanced decisions that you make before or make in advance so that your business sells or make operations in a smooth way. So what I'm saying here is when you have established your sales, you need to stabilize. How do you stabilize now? You stabilize by having a roster. For example, you are a restaurant. Do you establish a roster of the processes that are supposed to be done in your business? Who is responsible for cleaning the dishes? Who is responsible for doing this? Who is responsible for doing for this and that? So that your operations are as smooth as possible and you are able to deliver the service to your customer. So in this process now you need to establish the processes of who handles cash, who handles sales, who handles orders, right? Now you are trying to stabilize your business. Who handles orders? How are they handled? They are put in a point of sale system, right? Once the point of sale system produces the receipt is given to the food dispatcher, right? The food dispatcher gives orders to the order preparers. You see that process? Are we all together? Once you have established those decisions and you have made those decisions in advance, it will make your business operations smoothly. So you have established a process, you have decided this is a vision. So you need to visualize how your processes or your operations are supposed to work without you being in the process. So you need to establish the operations in your head and how you can meticulously plan on each stage of your operations so that the services are provided to your customer. So when you do that, you free up your time. As a business owner, because what you need to focus more on is to focus 90% of your time in marketing and business development. But the stability of your business needs to be established before scaling. Because when you scale without stabilizing your business, you'll find that you experience what we call a burnout. You'll be doing tasks that you should have done here on your own because you didn't stabilize the business in that process, right? So operational decisions are decided mainly when you are starting the business. This is an ongoing process because when you scale, when you've stabilized for one branch, when you now have two branches, the process might change, right? But they might not that change that drastically. So you need to amend your operational decisions. So the type of decision that you need to make first so that you don't come and do firefighting is you need to decide on your operational decisions. How do you operate? How do you handle cash in your business? When you're handling cash as a one-man band, when now you have three people in your business, it's supposed to be different because you might find yourself that you are always trying to handle cash in your pocket, but you can have systems that can handle that for you by having the proper operational decisions. right? So that's the first step. On the type of decisions, you need to first decide on your operational decisions. This is not a one, uh, because every business has a different, unique operations. Everyone knows how their operations work. So you need to establish the process of you started your business. What are your core sales processes that you need to be focusing on, and how best can you stabilize the business before scaling, so that you don't scale before stabilizing the business? Because most people, what they do is, when they are now is doing sales, what they will go to is to scaling. And also, stabilizing the business is to make sure that you are compliant with regulatory authorities. You can't open a new location without stabilizing in one location on to know what are the licenses that are needed to operate in that shop, so that when you scale to another location, now you are aware of what is required in operating in your business. Because when you open a new business or another location, now you will realize that you need an EMA license to operate. Now you have two locations or four locations to deal with EMA. Now you are in a hazardous. They are now saying your product that you are selling, and they need to be disposed in a certain way. So that means you would have skipped this process of stabilizing your business. Are we all together? Are we? Is this information so helpful to you? To those that are in, is this information helpful to you? I believe this information is golden to you. So this is the first process of establishing your business in operations. Now we move on to financial decisions. Financial decisions is like deciding how you are going to succeed in your business. But how do you succeed? You need resources. A money resource is needed, right? As this money resource is needed, how are you going to do it? Are you going to bootstrap, or are you going to look for funding? So, bootstrapping, this is using your retained earnings or your retained profits to reinvest in your business. It's a decision that you have to make beforehand, or make in your early stages of your business, so that when you want to change your lifestyle, when you've started your business, you'll be knowing that you are bootstrapping. Because when you start to have those profits or that income, and you have not decided on your financial decision in your business, you might eat your capital, right? You might, that you need to do is to decide on financial decisions, is to understand what is your strategy on the financing side of your. If you are bootstrapping, so so let's move forward. So either you are getting a loan from lenders, so you need to but this one it might not be feasible, especially if you are a small business. First of all, you need to have your idea worked on first. Once you have risked your own capital, someone will give you an investment. Once you have risked your own capital, so this might not be a feasible idea, or you will not be able to implement it. So the first step is to bootstrap. So you bootstrap your own capital, then those profits you generate them. So those are the type of decisions that you are going to make. You are going to make your operational decisions. On operational decisions, most business owners are more likely to be stuck on operational decisions as always, because you are likely to skip a step, or uh, move to scaling before stabilizing the business. Then also, you might get equity from investors. Maybe you have your relatives that you have talked on to the idea. Now you are a team, then you share equity on your business, right? So those are the main decisions that you are going to make. Then the other decisions, these are strategic. Mainly, people don't understand what strategic means. It's a strategy. A strategy is a decision or a choice that you make. I would say it's a choice. A choice, you have entered a market, you are doing groceries, right? This market already has competitors, right? It's already saturated with other people. Then you make a decision to target bachelors only. You have made a decision to target bachelors only. So when you are strategic, you are pointing to what you see in the future to continue to be doing. So I would like to give you an example of Bon Marché Greendale. Bon Marché Greendale Harare. They are a supermarket, but they are operating at a scale that has never been seen on other supermarkets. Reason is because they are known for fresh produce. What they did, or what they decided on, is to make their veg, or their veg side, to be always fresh. Once they made that decision, or a strategic decision, I think it took years. A strategic decision is not something that you can achieve in 1 year or 2 years. Sometimes it might take 5 years. Once they did that, what they did now is to establish the distribution side of the fresh produce. So they decided that this is going to be our anchor in strategy. Right? They decided that this is going to be the anchor of our strategy. We are going to be known as a fresh produce supermarket. When you are known as a fresh produce supermarket and you decide on the supply chain of it, now they to collaborate with farmers, not just farmers, and also establishing a farm where they can produce high quality fresh produce. So you see, a strategy is something that you make as a choice and you stick to it. Let's say you are selling paints. Then you say, I'm going to be selling automotive paints. That means you are going to be doing color matching. This is a decision or a strategic decision that you have taken, but not just on the color matching side only. You are going to focus on a certain brand. Maybe mix and match, or another brand, super shine. So most strategic decisions, they differentiate you from other players in the market. What are you known of as a business? What do you know of as when you hear Pick and Pay? What do you know of when you hear Food Lovers? What do you know of when you hear a certain type of company or a certain brand? That thing that comes first to your mind is a strategic decision that was made earlier on. So, these are the three types of decisions that you make in your business. Now that you have understood the type of decisions that you make, we need to go on the key benefits. So, as we said, we have the types of decisions, what are the key benefits, and what is the decision making process you can implement to make each type of decision, right? So we move on to the key benefits. So one key benefit of making smart decisions in your business is that it gives you an edge. Over other market players, right? So when you make those decisions, it gives you an edge over other market players. Making smart decisions in time and at the appropriate time with the right energy gives you an edge, because sometimes you don't have to be making reactional decisions, because when you are always reacting, you'll be always be firefighting. This company is now is given discounts to this much, and you try to react to that. Now you are sounding desperate and you lose your edge, because you are now eating on your profits, because your overheads and the other players profits, or other players overheads are totally different than yours. So you need to be stable in making decisions. Number two, the other major decision that you make on are on hiring, pricing, and risk. So when you understand the type of decisions that you are going to face, other decisions that you make that will be very difficult to you as a business owner is on hiring, especially from moving from a one person business to having other three people in your business. That hiring process will stress you. It will stress you that sometimes you become a micromanager, because want to manage everyone in your business the same way you would want everything to be done. So in that way, you'll find that hiring is a very big problem, especially when you're trying to move from a one person band business to a business that employs people. Then the other challenge you face is on pricing. To price is a very difficult challenge, because you are not alone in the market. You have other players, you are trying to convince customers to you, and also you are trying to stay competitive. But as I said, don't ever fight on price wars. fight on an anchor or a strategic decision that you are known of. You are known of fresh produce. You are known of this. You are known of this, not on price. Because when you are known on the, it might be a strategy to you when you are doing it at scale, but don't use it as a reactional strategy or reactional decision. Then also on a risk. When you are saying risk, there are three types of risk that you face in your business: compliance risk, operational risk, then also on your financial risk. These are the main risks that you face in your business. And these days, compliance risks are becoming scary and scary because Zimbabwe is ramping up on compliance. Yet previous it wasn't that much, but on it was much on operational and financial risks. On operational and financial risks is your internal processes and the outside environment. And then also we have the financial risks that on the banking side, and you are keeping cash as a business owner, large sums of cash, you need to plan on your risks. Not keeping cash at one point and also having drop cash boxes in your locations is another financial risk that you need to consider. So the key benefits of having a framework of knowing your types of decisions that you are supposed to make and how you are going to make them, it will give you an edge, not just an edge, it will give you stability and peace. Because this means you now have more time to plan and strategize on those decisions, right? So, the key benefits of making smart decisions is that it gives you an edge and also it gives you a bird's eye view. Watove gondo riri mudenga riri kuona zvinhu on an upper hand or in a bird's eye view. When you have a bird's eye view of things, you are able to think clearly and see where the loopholes are, right? Then also it gives you stability and peace. So these are the basic three benefits of making smart decisions. There are a lot of uh, benefits that you gain from making smart decisions. Now, what is the decision making process? So, as we said, we have three types of decisions that you are going to make. You have operational decisions, operational decisions. The decision making process is mainly consultative because what the certain way you want things to be done may not be feasible. Let's say you are a perfectionist, you want things to be done in a certain way, but it also reduces efficiency and effectiveness. And also, it's not a direct benefit to the customer or to your client. Sometimes you might focus on that when it's not making any sense to the customer. While it's doing is to reduce your effectiveness and your efficiency. So when you have now hired people, when you have now done the hiring process, you now to establish a consultative process. I don't mean don't have any processes before you are hiring. You need to have them, but to refine the operational decisions, you need a consultative process. But also before hiring, you need a hiring process. The hiring process is very simple. You need to have an established process that you do for everyone. If you are going to make everyone to send CVs and an application letter, do that and review every people that have sent you those applications. You find a common trait that you start to notice this person is good, this person is not good. But if you hire on nepotism, sometimes you find or you experience challenges. So on hiring processes, you need to establish a process that you are going to do every time that you are hiring someone, right? Every time, every time that you you hire someone, you need to have a process. So on operational decisions, be a bit consultative, but have processes. Let's say you are an example of in a restaurant that I have talked about. You need to have the processes that you know, right? That you have worked with and that you know that are feasible. But also for you to refine that, you need to have a consultative approach. In that way, you find or you discover people who have leadership styles, those who can be managers, and those that need to remain is in the position that they are. Because when you do a consultative experiment or consultative process, you find your people. Good people are not trained. You need to know that. Good people are found. You will not be able to train a good person. A good person is found. You need to know that. This is not a secret. This is what you need to know, that good people are found, and you find them when you experience with them, and a consultative process will do that for you. So on operational decision, the decision making process is, you need to have a hiring process, you need to have a consultative process. Then also on the other operational expenses, operational decisions is, you need to learn. when you have when you start a business, be ready to learn, because the reason of learning in any part of life is to protect yourself or to take advantage of the opportunities. For example, when you are a business owner, you need to learn about sales and marketing, right? Why are you learning about sales and marketing? You are learning about sales and marketing so that you can take advantage of the opportunities that are found in sales and marketing. You need to learn accounting, the basics of accounting. Why do you learn accounting? To protect. What do you need to protect? What you have worked for, you need to protect it. Because when you are establishing a business, as you scale and as you grow, you'll find that if you don't know accounting or you don't know finance, the basics, you experience lots and lots of pilferages. Pilferages, that means maybe people are stealing from you without you noticing, or you are just losing funds without. You need to learn compliance, because compliance also you are learning to protect. Compliance is learn to you learn compliance to protect. You need to learn operations to increase efficiency. So as a business owner, once you have started a business, any business that you have started, you need to be someone who is teachable. You need to be someone that learns very quickly and someone who accepts new methods of doing things. So that's on operational decisions. On operational decisions. Now we move on to financial decisions. Financial decisions, that means you need to get well versed with the processes of finance. It's not about having all the money or all the having all the ideas. Sometimes it's about knowing certain aspects of a certain field that makes you a winner. So in financial decisions, you need to know what are the advantages of taking a loan and using it for business, and what are the advantages of doing this or going to this bank and take the finances. Now we go again, you need to learn. You need to learn to take the opportunities that come with knowing finance. You don't have to be an expert. Do you know how financial statements are connected? The statement of financial position, the statement of cash flow, and the balance sheet. Those that knowing how to read those statements, it might sound like it's a simple thing, but knowing how to read them and explain them, they can set you for making good financial decisions in business, not in your personal life, but in business. Because knowing how to read the financial statements can differentiate you from other business owners, and also it will protect you and your assets. Knowing financial decisions that you need to make, need you learn how you can establish havens for yourself, like trusts. What is the importance of having a trust as a business owner? How will it protect you? So in the process of decision making in this is, you need to start with the basics. How can you simplify your financial decisions in your business? In Zimbabwe, most of the transactions are cash based, and cash is the most susceptible resource to manipulation. This means that when you are handling cash, even if you are handling cash of your business by yourself, most likely you might never know the transaction that you incur. You might know the incomes, but the transaction that you incur, you might not be able to know them. So you need to be able to use the technology to make those financial decisions. Just tracking your cash transactions using tools like Google Sheets. If you want to learn about the Google Sheets thing, you can enroll for our upcoming Tax Basics course that is starting on Tuesday. You will learn all these things on the digital tools that you can use to protect your business and increase efficiency and effectiveness of your business. So Google Sheets, in tracking your cash transactions, you can learn them in our Tax Basics course. So the process of financial decisions, you start small. You start with the basics by tracking your cash transactions, by knowing your numbers. You don't start about going to CBZ financials and start reading them. No, you start with the basics. After that, you have moved to the basics, you'll find yourself needing more and more knowledge on how these things work. until you are at a stage that you are able to make those big financial decisions. So that's is a financial decision process for financial decisions. Then we move to strategic. For strategic decisions, I would say you need a mentor. If you can't find a mentor, you need to read a lot. When I say read a lot, read very wide. Read about anything that is more business related or life related, so that you'll be able to know how decisions are made. Strategic decisions. As I said, strategic decisions are choices that you are able to with stand with for a longest period of time. 5 years, 10 years of a choice. So mainly when you want to be able to know the process or the decision making process of strategic decisions, you need to find a mentor. These days with technology, is maybe a model or role model that you follow on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. If you follow someone religiously, you would find how they make their strategic choices. I've my mentor. I don't pay her. I follow her on Facebook. She's from Nigeria, but I've seen how she makes decisions. I've seen how she's resilient and how to achieve success in life, because I just follow. She she talks on her processes of how you can do business. So when I'm saying a mentor is not someone that you can pay, but someone you can follow religiously, or is someone who is a model or a role model to you. With time, you'll find how they make their decision making process. But the decision making process is not something that you will be able to make today or tomorrow. It's something that you continue to refine, amend, and refine. So let me give you an example. When you start a business, and when you have started a business, you are not so sure of the idea. You implement you take the idea to the market, and you see the response of the market. Once you've seen the response of the market, maybe you say, I need to adjust this and this. So you're continuing to refine and refine and refine. But what I will tell you, for you to be able to make decisions, high impact decisions, you need to act. You need to take the action first. How do you take the action? Implement what's there in your in your mind with speed. So in strategic decisions, what is important is speed and agents. Treat everything with agents, and also implement fast. Once you have implemented something fast, within 8 to 1 year, you will be able to make a strategic decision that you are going to adhere to for the next 5 years. So once you have a structure of how you make decisions and the type of decision that you need to make, you'll be able to structure yourself or your mindset in a way that when I'm making operational decisions, I need to know that this doesn't have to take up all my time. I need to decide in advance the process that that need to be done, so that I can free up my time and focus on the most core activities of my strength, not of your strength, but of your responsibilities as a business owner. Your responsibilities are in selling and marketing and business development. You need to bring the business development to life as a business owner. That's your main responsibility. The operational and the delivery of the service to the customer, you need to standardize it. That That is the process you do it on the stability or the stabilization process. Are we all together? Are we not overwhelming each other with this information? Your comments are important. Is this all clear to you? Your comments are important. Is this all clear to you? All right, all right. I think this is more clear to you. Uh, you can comment on the comment section so that we move forward. So, what are the common mistakes? Common mistakes is firefighting. When I say firefighting is reactional decision making. I'm not saying don't do firefighting. Yes, in Zimbabwe you might need to do firefighting. The rate has changed, the currency has changed, it has moved from ZWO to ZWG, and you need to act fast. Yes, you need to be very agile. But there are some decisions that you need to take with all thinking and all brains at once. When you are stable, you need to make those decisions. So you need to reduce your firefighting and take strategic decisions that are there for the long run, right? So most common mistakes is firefighting. Your competitor is implemented a 15% discount, and just because for that day you experience low sales, you do firefighting, you go and do a 20% discount. What if your competitor comes and buys from you using those customers so that you experience stockouts? Then they go to their price again. So in terms of firefighting, I've seen that most business owners, what they would do is they would try to firefight. But what I advise you to do is to have an anchor. What are you known of? If it's high quality things, do it the same way as you have done for every customer. Those that want quality, they will come to you. The market is very big. Not everyone is your customer. And I advocate for that. Not everyone is your customer. Don't try to convince everyone to be your customer. You have a certain type of customers in your business that will buy from you, right? There are certain customers that will buy from you. Don't exploit them, but I'm saying don't be pushed around so that you are trying to remain competitive. Yes, you may need to remain competitive, but you need to be very strategic in not doing firefighting. So, common mistake number one, what I've seen for the longest period of time is firefighting. Number two, not relying on data. So when I mean data, most business owners, they take it lightly, but most business owners don't do record keeping religiously. You see, you might underestimate your expenses because you are not recording and tracking them. And what you cannot track cannot be measured. And what you cannot measure You can't take ownership of it. So if it's your expenses, you will never take on ownership of your expenses when you are not measuring them and if you're not tracking them. So most business people is what they would do is they will rely on data. Yes, you might know in your head that this and this and this, but to have that data that you might feel like you have sold $700, but in actual fact you have sold 1.4. Have you experienced that? That you feel like you have sold low sales because of the pressure, but what you have done is you have sold more than you are selling. You have sold 80,000 in sales when you are usually selling 7,000, but you felt like you sold 60,000 because of the pressure that comes with the increase of sales, especially if you are dealing with stock. Because when you are dealing with stock, that means you need to buy more or restock. So it's a common mistake not to rely on data. Take the simplest process. Track your cash transactions, especially when you are doing business in Zimbabwe. Cash transactions are a big headache. Do you know how much cash your business is supposed to be having right now? A running balance. Do you have that? If you don't have, use Google Sheets, use Excel, use Google Sheets to track your cash transactions. To track your cash transactions. With a and have a running balance of how much cash you are supposed to have on a certain day. So take data seriously. And when you have data, you are able to make those strategic decisions and other operational decisions that you have never thought of because you have data. Let me give you an example. Uh, in 2023, I went to implement a system, an accounting system at this other company. They were saying that each salesperson, they have 5 locations. Each salesperson was able to adjust the sales price item in the system because some customers were being given discounts. So they said we allow our salespeople to adjust the price. And I told them, do you know the impact of those price adjustments that are being done by salespeople? They said that it's a very small figure. And I told them, let's try to implement a system whereby they are not able to change the price, but they can do the discount. What we found was astounding. People were giving almost half. The sales that they were doing, the prices that they were giving, and the sales price it was almost half. Because let's say they've sold $100, they were almost giving a discount of $50 over a period of 1 month. This brought changes in how discounts are approved, and no one was able to adjust the price at the point of sale. So you see what data does when you have it. When you have data, some decisions you might take them as they are light because yes, you trust your salespeople, you trust your everyone, but when you make those operational errors, you would find that you are making half and half. And how do you know now that the price adjustment was being was being implemented as a discount? Sometimes it's not a discount because the results that we found in that month, the boss was frustrated, and they said, let's implement what you have told us. And we did that. We logged the prices and we made the center of discounts to be centralized. Everyone who needs a discount would call to the one person who was stationed at the head office to give a discount. So you see, not relying on data, is a common mistake that most business owners make. All right. So, uh, this is the end of our session of this live webinar. I hope everyone has benefited in this course, in this webinar. Just to let you know about our Tax Basics for Entrepreneurs course. Tax Basics for Entrepreneurs course. It's a course that is starting on Tuesday next week. In this course, you will learn financial literacy in business. Do you know how to read financial statements? You learn Google Sheets, and Microsoft Basics. Microsoft Excel Basics. These are tools that you need to be knowing as a business owner, as they are data manipulation tools or data management tools in business. Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel, and how you can implement in your business, especially here in Zimbabwe. Then you learn payroll and employment taxes. You learn how to do the returns of taxes and how to calculate your payrolls accurately using these tools, right? Then you learn also corporate income tax. You learn VAT, and also you learn terms user interface, which is a new system for Zimra tax collection, revenue collection. So this course is going for only $50. And enrollment is closing tomorrow. So if you'd like to enroll, you can WhatsApp us on our number. You can WhatsApp us on our number in enroll for the upcoming cohort. This is cohort 8. We have done other cohorts from cohort 1 this year up to this cohort 8. So thank you very much for staying with us in this webinar. I hope everyone benefited from this webinar. Your reviews, I think I'll ask in the group what people have learned in this live webinar. Thank you very much for attending this session. See you in the academy. Have a good night.